All right, welcome to this EURUSD weekly analysis. Today's Thursday, July 20th, and haven't made a video in a while. Simply for the fact that I was just waiting for the right opportunity to capture a move, which I did. But beforehand, I got hit with a few small losses here and there, and pretty much decided to just stay flat for a little while and just wait to see what the market was going to do. So I'll backtrack a little bit. I think the last video I made was somewhere back here. Yeah, it was somewhere back here. And I was talking about I had short positions all through up here, these levels down here, and then I was aiming for this pivotal zone down here about well, actually a little before that, 1.06, 1.0600. And price just started having really hard time trying to, get to this level, and it became frustrating to the point where I was like, okay, this thing is not going to end up going lower, or it's going to hold on to this trend line. And the trend line I was talking about was this one right over here. I'll draw this out for you just in a second. So I connect highs and lows and highs to support and resistance levels, or vice versa. And I mentioned the price going way below this trend line, but one of the most important things you have to remember is that it's always, in my opinion, it's always critical to wait for a daily candle to close, right? Because one, you could see something happening during London Open, which is I think about 3 a.m. here in New York, and then 10 o'clock rolls around, or even before that, usually about 8:30 comes around, and price does something completely different, and then by 3 o'clock, price is doing something completely different, right? So you don't know what exactly it's trying to do until you actually see the candle close. So in this case, you can see that price was holding on. I was still holding on to shorts, and I wanted to see if it was going to get back above this long-term median level right over here. So as time went on, it refused to go lower, and that should have been a sign for me to say, okay, you know what? I think I should get out of this one. Just take the profits and just let it go. But of course, once once it started heading up higher, I was like, okay. I started closing some positions, and this level down here didn't look like it was gonna get hit. Although I was still looking for potential resistance zones to potentially, maybe this was a pullback, and then we would have one more move to the downside and then take off. Because I was overall bullish. I wanted to see a big bullish move, but at the same time, I wanted to capture it at the lowest possible level. Right? I know we don't. I know it's not a good thing to sometimes pick tops and bottoms, but this is what I was looking for, and if the market wasn't doing that, then I was just going to get out. So, um, one level I was looking at again with the trend lines, I believe it was right over here. I was looking for this level to hold, and I think this was going to be my determining factor whether I was going to look to hold this shorts or add shorts or just get out completely. And once this happened, I actually held out for this. This was actually a pretty scary move, but it closed back under it. And at this point, I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me just close out positions and just see what happens. And lucky I did, because look what happened on the very next candle. So I pretty much saved my ass trying to try to add any shorts or do anything else. And that was the result, right? And not that it mattered anyway, because I always, managing risk is super important, right? So even if the market does a crazy move against you, this is why it's always important to have a stop loss, right? For a worst case scenario, or something something that you don't really see in your analysis initially. And if you're wrong, then yeah, sure, you take a loss, but at the same time, you control that loss, right? Whatever you look for in terms of how much capital you're willing to lose on a trade, or the percentage that you're looking to lose on a trade. So either or, right? But the point is that control that um, you want to control that loss. right? Because you're definitely going to have losses. There's no question about it. So you want to be sure that you able to control that. All right. So that once that move happened, I was out of all trades. I said, okay, this is not the move that I obviously was looking for. And once it paused here, I said, okay, well, maybe it's going to make another move to the downside. Now, the funny thing about this, if I backtrack just a little bit, you can see that there should have been, or I should have heeded this warning because I saw it and I didn't really heed the warning, right? My mind wanted to I wouldn't say force because we can't force the market to do something, right? We just have to go with the flow, see what the market's going to give us, and then position ourselves to capture, that opportunity, whether it be on the long side or short side. But for those of you who are divergence traders, I mean, what do you see here? We see this strong low. Okay. Obviously, it made multiple attempts, 3 attempts before it finally took off, right? The market wasn't willing to allow price to go lower, and then it started bottoming out over here. Now, if we take the divergence trend line that I have, we have this low connecting to these lows here, and if we do the opposite on the MACD, which let me get this up over here. That was a trend continuation divergence. That was a warning that this market was going to turn around. Okay. And divergences are one of the most, if in my opinion, the most powerful indicator of a market turnaround, right? Doesn't happen, it doesn't not gonna work all the time, right? But this is why we use different tools and methods so that we can pinpoint certain areas that we can take advantage of. And pretty much one thing needs to work with the other, if that makes sense. But yeah, so this was a really nice divergence or a hidden divergence, trend continuation divergence, however you want to view it. But that was a warning, and I should have, just taken profits down here, and instead I took like a very small profit up here, where it should have been a lot better. But that's neither here nor there, right? We can't go back in time, so we just have to move forward. So as price continue on, I believe at this point, I tried to take a little short, I think, over here. And once it started going green and higher, I just backed out, and that ended up taking up another loss. Here we go again. The market saying, okay, maybe this will be a down move, and it would be a good opportunity to capture maybe some pips on the downside. And it did make that nice move to the downside. This was a really strong candle. However, once I saw this candle over here, I was attempting to maybe see if we are going to fill this small little gap here, and went to the short side, and then that green candle showed up. All right, that was another small loss for me, and pretty much everything was just out of whack. Right, I think I took one more trade where I saw this candle started coming down, and I was actually in profit for a little bit, and then pretty much the market turned around on this green candle right over here. Nothing major, but once you're short, well, I was short here in the middle of this candle, and the market went green. It was just like, okay, what the hell is this thing trying to do? And let me just go completely flat and wait to see what's going to happen. All right. So, here's a quick tip. If you are unsure, or the market seems a little off to you, or just something that you can't read properly, one of the best things or the best actions you can do is to stay flat and not trade at all. You can look at the charts if you have self control. Go ahead and look at the charts, especially if you're still learning. You'll get to see the price action develop, and then you'll start over time. You'll start developing more of an intuition of like, okay, what the market's trying to do. If you just give it time to develop and kind of tell you the story of what it's trying to do, right? So I stood flat for a while, and then it was pretty much in no man's land. So then I started spotting a potential pattern here. So I'll take this candle right over here. I'm sorry, this trend line. I started just drawing this trend line here and this trend line over here. I was like, okay, maybe we have a potential wedge here. Now, if this is true, and we have this level or these levels as a bottom, and if this area here is a true higher low, then we should see a bounce and a move to the upside. So put on long positions. I believe it was at the beginning of this candle, right over here. It was probably about 1.08. And it says here maybe 1890 around there, right? Once I saw this pattern develop, I put some stops down here and went long right at the beginning of this candle with a target of 1.1100, which is up here, right? This is the next median level, short-term median level, and it's also the level where there was previous resistance right in this zone. Okay, so obviously the long positions, this trade worked out extremely well. It was just a little bit over 200 pips profit. So I booked it, like I said, at a 1.1100. And of course, the market just kept going. But guys, you're not going to be able to get the exact level or the exact exit. Now, I could have held on to see what the market was going to do, right? And just increase my stop or move my stop up. But after these multiple small losses, I just wanted to recover the losses that I had, and also felt that this was a solid level to to take profits at, right? So that was pretty much it. This is where we are right now, and what are we looking for, or what am I looking for? The Euro USD, is it going to end up pulling back further? Is it going to bounce here? And the honest answer is, I don't know. Basically, eh, like again, like I just mentioned before, when I was going through the example back here, if things aren't fully clear to you, the best thing for you to do is to just not trade and just let the market take a break for a little while, right? Sometimes, as they say, come back with fresh eyes. You don't look at the chart for a little while, depending on what time frame you look at, or if you're a short-term trader. I specialize in swing trading, so I'm not looking for a move every single day. I'm looking for the big swing opportunities like this move here. But in this case, it's definitely unknown. I was watching a certain trend line that gave some indication of resistance, but I wasn't going to play off of that because still, it just wasn't as clear to me. One of the things I'll show you over here is from this support to this resistance level, which matches up with these resistance levels. And you can actually see there was some slight resistance right there, but I wasn't looking for a short here, especially with this type of momentum. It's not something that I wanted to get in front of. So after this big push, I was thinking maybe we'll come down and test that. And early in the day, there was some slight support, but for me, this is not something that doesn't look like an ideal place to go short. There was just too much momentum to the downside, and eventually it broke through it. And now we're here to see what's going to happen on the next candle, which will be tomorrow and ends of the week ends this trading week. If it climbs back up, it might still be valid on a weekly time frame. We'll take a look at the weekly time frame right now. Let's X that out and let's put the weekly chart up on the screen. And let's draw the same trend line on the weekly scale. You can see if it closes above this, it might still be valid, but I prefer to wait and see to get more clarity. If it starts heading up higher and I see another opportunity, we may head up to this level over here that I mentioned a while back on a few of my videos, about 115, right? 11500, um, even 11600, and this whole zone right over here. So if it bounces and we continue up to rally up to these levels, I wouldn't be surprised. You can see this whole section right over here. if I just move it all the way back, you can see back in 2020, 2022, these levels were respected. This is a strong previous resistance level here, slight support over here, support here, and resistance. Well, major strong resistance back here during, I think this was the beginning of the pandemic, which is why you have a lot of wild ups and downs and price action here. But this would be a nice solid area to look for, if you're on the long side, looking for a target up here. And just to go back, I know it's a quarterly chart, but it's still relevant to the reason why we want to look for a continuation to the upside. Is this very large falling wedge pattern, which pretty much started back in 2006, 2007. You can see this huge falling wedge, and pretty much it's gotten narrow all the way back here to 2022, and it started rallying off towards the end of last year. So even if it runs up to this level here, there's still a possibility this thing can run up all the way up to 1.2100, which is, you can see the previous resistance here, and this is the main long-term pivotal zone, which which is the strongest level out of all these levels, right? And you see the previous level resistance here, the strong resistance before we had that huge down move. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. It's a very long time frame, but again, it's still relevant to look at the patterns on long-term time frames and then adjust to see how we can get into trading opportunities on the shorter time frames like the weekly and the daily chart. So that's going to be the analysis for this week. I will continue doing videos every week. I've been on a break the last couple of, I think the last 2 or 3 weeks. But again, doesn't look like any trades right now or any major opportunities to take advantage of. So the one thing that I'm going to do, and I suggest you do the same if you're trading the EURUSD and are not 100% clear on a trading opportunity, is just to stand by and just let things take shape and protect your capital, and then put it to work once the market gives you a clear indication of a trade. All right, so with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and the analysis, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. If you would like to get in contact with me, you can head over to internaltrader.com and come over and fill out the newsletter, or you can reach over on the contact form and send me a message directly. If you would like, you can check out also the VIP coaching, which is internaltrader.com/VIP coaching. You can book a free 30-minute call with me by clicking here and simply select a date, and we can get on a free 30-minute Zoom call to see if this program is suitable for you. You can also check out the VIP master course, which is not out 100% yet, but you can also input your details here and be notified when the official release is out. Okay, so thanks for viewing and hope to hear from you soon.